Good evening, all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Uh, Hope you all are doing well over there. So we will start today by a new topic and new you can say a new part or a new features or new techniques in Tableau that are very essential from the point of view of preparing your data. Why we are so much focusing on these preparation of data? Because uh, if the data is not prepared, then it is not possible to get the best insights from it. So we have to ensure each and every time when we deal with any data or any query or any objective that our data is clean and prepared. Okay, that's the main you can say main importance of any data, because there are many analysts, or you can say many your insight viewers. What is their regular basis practice is that whenever they get any objective, they ensures or they get familiar with the data. They took their maximum time to ensure and getting familiar with the data, because once you are familiar with the data, you will easily get the insights from it. And if you are aware and you have all the informations about the data, then only you are able to get the insights from that, because you have to understand what type of data is useful for you from that big data, right? So starting from that, before starting the session, I would like to tell you that we are starting another session of 1 month of MySQL. A complete SQL sessions will be in this 1 month, from the basics to the advanced. Okay, uh, it costs rupees 199, because from the point of view of seriousness of the participants, we implemented a nominal fee on this sessions MySQL, because it's of 1 month also. So you can avail it, and you will get certifications in that training also, and you will get your practicals with the industrial data or industrial based examples also, and uh, job assistance also for MySQL. The jobs that are related to the SQL, we will give you the job assistance also, that how to prepare, what are the SQL questions asked in the interview. We will let you prepare for these all kind of job assistances. Okay, mock interviews, your practices for SQL, and how to apply, how to make the social media familiar with you, or the attractiveness of the social media like LinkedIn for jobs. Okay, that's the thing. And I thought you all got the joining link also, the registration form also. If anyone wish to avail this course of 1 month, it is also for weekdays from Monday to Friday, 2 hours per day. Okay. Right from the basics to the advanced level, SQL will be taught. Okay. This is the joining link. I will provide it in chat box also. Just a moment. If anyone interested, you can join from here also. Okay, fine. So let's move on to our today's topic, that is working with metadata. Okay, we will cover the remaining part, that we left in last session of connections with our capstone project. Okay, because that consumes so much time of ours for connecting with the server only. So that's the case. We will start today with the metadata. The remaining part of the previous sections will be covered in our capstone project. So we will start it by working with metadata. Okay. So what is metadata? The very basic are the introduction of metadata. It is very important to understand what data informations are provided and what are the fields in the data, what information or what are the previous editings or what type of data is in our data sets. So all about data is known as metadata. The information behind the data that gives the history of the data and the whole information about the data is known as metadata. So let's dip into the metadata and work on it. It will be very interesting for you. I hope you all accessed your Tableau also. So let's start. By the end of this lesson, or you can say the session, you will understand you will be able to list and describe the various type of data sources. Okay, a very basic thing is one is your numeric data and second is your non-numeric data, and there are so many different categories in numerical and non-numerical data, so you will be able to verify that what is the type of data you are dealing with. Okay, how to rename any column, how to hide, unhide, and sort the fields available in the tableau. Okay, and analyzing the default properties of that field. Every field having its default analysis. Okay, by default properties of the field. So by analyzing, you will be understand that what type of property that field have. Okay, and next, the concept of LSS in Tableau. LSS also mean to giving name to some fields. Okay, a temporary name to some column or temporary name to any field. Okay, that means LSS. So we will go through the things in it. So let's understand with our data analyst John. So he have a task again from the organization. So they ask to identify the kind of data that is stored on their data sources, say on their SQL server. Okay, just a moment. Just a moment. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Just, just now you heard me, or it was mute? I thought so. As
Sir,
the
it was
slides.
mute. It was mute, sir.
Oh, then why you are not saying in the message box? Sorry, I have
Sir,
to
I
start.
thought some network issues were happening on your side. That's why.
Uh, uh, so let me start the slides from the beginning. Okay. So right from here, uh, these are the learning objectives we have for this session. So we have to understand the various type of data in the list, how to rename, hide, unhide, sort the fields in Tableau, and analyzing the default properties of the fields. That every field have some default properties. Okay, that we say it have some default properties, or we can say if some properties are not mentioned, then by default having some its own defined properties, those are known as default properties. Okay, so then explaining the concept of aliases in Tableau. Aliases means giving a temporary name to some file or some column or some databases. Okay, that's known as aliases. We will see in upcoming slides. So again, John have a task from the organization again. So he have to analyze, or you can say he have to identify the kind of stored data, that what type of data is stored in their data sources, and ask to rename specific values within that data sources. Okay, renaming specific values, so he will come to know some concepts such as data types, what is dimension, what is measures, and what is the application of discrete and continuous fields, like that. So uh, it is also the task for all of you also today, as John have some objective to achieve a task to learn or to gain the knowledge of these things. So along with John, you all will learn that what are these things in that data sources and at the point of data stored. So coming forward with the data types, what are the data types? These are the symbols of different data types. Okay, so if we will see these symbols only, we can identify some of them, that maybe these are some kind of calendars, or if there is a calendar, it means there is some dates. Here is a clock, it means some time, right? And true and false, it is boolean type, right? Here is a globe, that you all know Tableau have some global parameters also. So it's globe, some hashtags, some ABC. It means maybe there is something like text. So see what are these symbols represents. The very first thing is your text value. Second one is your numerical. First is your text. Second is your numerical. Third is your date type, right? As we see, this is your date type symbol. Okay, and boolean type, boolean values. This one is your boolean values. Okay, true and false. And fifth one is your date and time. As we said, there is a clock, so there must be some time. So along with calendar, a clock, it means day and time values. And the last one is your geographical data, geographical values. This globe shows your geographical values, right? So let's move into the Tableau platform and search these symbols in our data sets. Okay, we will come back on this slide after observing in Tableau, right? So let me share you my screen of Tableau. Now it is visible to all of you, and whenever my voice is not coming to you, please let me know in chat box. Maybe if there is some network issue, I will let you know, else it is muted. So I will let you know also if it is muted. So hope you all open your Tableau desktop also. Now again we will go with the Excel file and insert our Superstore data. Click on Microsoft Excel. Again, going with the sample Superstore. Which one is latest? This one. Okay. Let it upload. How are you, Firdaus? Are you here, Firdaus? Chandrika? Smita? How are you?
Fine, sir.
Okay, good. Uh, and I thought the remaining are just left here by joining the session. If you are facing any issue or any problem, please be interactive. Drop messages in chat box, so I also understand and I also get motivated that yes, the students are getting something. Okay, so now we see here we have three files or three tables in this data set: order, people, returns. Let's leave the last two one and just drag and drop our orders table into the scenario. Okay, see, our orders table is inserted into it. Let it. Okay, fine. So see here.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, sometimes when I load any data,
Yes.
directly my sheet will open without me dragging any orders or returns anything. Why does that happen, sir?
What happened?
Like
It get.
sometimes when I load any data, any
Yes.
XSL sheet, when I convert that to Excel sheet, and when I load that, the
Yes.
entire data is transferred automatically to sheet one. I don't have to even drag orders or people returns anything. Why does that happen? Then again, I have to go back if I want to do left join, inner join, anything. I have to again drag and do that. Why does that happen?
It gets on your orders only. All the joints and all the things are removed. Is that you want to ask? Or you are not getting the people and returns in your sheet over here?
No, I get it, sir. Like it happens
Okay.
automatically without me dragging sometimes. That's what I was asking.
Okay. The orders file automatically shown in your screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, because you already saved that file, na? You already
Okay,
working,
okay.
you already
Okay.
worked on that and you saved that file, and whenever you started your Tableau and click on your previous work, it will show when you left it.
Understood. Understood.
And if you will not save it, it will open from the initial place. As I every day or in every session I upload it again, because I didn't save the previous work we have done over here. So from the
And sir,
initial, yes,
what is this connection extract if we do that? Like I
uh,
always work on live. What if I do an extract?
you are not here yesterday. That's why you are asking. So it's okay. So there are two kinds of connections as you see here. One is live and second is your extract, right? So as we are presently working with the still data, it is not coming from any server, not coming from any you can say live data or real time data. It is a still Excel file, right? So it is a type of extract connection. You can click on your extract connection and it will work, because uh, what is live and what is extract? Live connection are those connections uh, when we have a small database, or whenever we want to work with the data sources which is working in a real time. If you are getting the databases or data source from any server, let's suppose your server is connected with some SQL servers, okay, or something like Amazon servers like that. So in that case, you will use your live connections, okay, and it is updating whenever the new data is coming from the servers. It will update automatically, okay. But when you work with the extract, it means the data source is big, the large data set we are going to work with. Second, it is not connected with the real time sources, right? And whenever you update the data in your data sources, then you have to refresh it. Until you will not refresh your database in extract connection, it will not get updated. Whereas in live, it gets updated automatically, right? Hope you understood, Sandeep.
Yes, sir. So, sir, all the stock market data comes under live data, live connection.
Right, right.
Okay, sir.
Because they have the variation in microseconds also. Okay. So moving ahead, either we can see from here or from here the types. Okay. So let's start from the table itself. The very first thing, see, row ID. We have row ID. So from where this row ID come from? It is from orders. It is from orders table, and this column name is row ID. Whenever we move our cursor towards the column, a pop-up shows its connection, right? Just clicking this point, or you can say by clicking the symbol in the left corner of this column, you will see it will pop up a window. See, this shows you the different type of data sources available. The very first is your number in decimals. Second is your whole number. Okay. Third is your date and time as we seen in the symbols. Fourth is your date only. Okay. Then string, that is your text files. Then is your boolean, true or false type. Okay. And very important, that is used in your maps, that is your geographical data. And geographical data have its own categories also, like airport locations, air code, area code, and your city, country, latitude, longitude, state, zip code. And by create from state, postal code, city, and country. From these parameters also, you can create a further column again with your geographical role, right? So these are the data types available in Tableau. These much of different types of data types available in Tableau. Let's identify the symbols that we see. The very first symbol we seen over there is this. This is your number, right? If you are not understanding what type of symbol it is, just when you click on this icon, or you can say this symbol, uh, the type which is got a right click is mentioned as that particular symbol. Okay. Now moving further, ABC. Next one is your ABC. Just click on that. Now it's a string, right? This is a symbol for string data. Okay. Now further here, click on that. It is only a date type, right? So this symbol also we seen in the slides. Next, orders. This is also date type. Moving further, ABC, ABC, ABC. This is we seen that this is a string type. Moving ahead, see that globe over here. What this globe says, it have string values and it have some geographical values also. Okay, so the very first thing, the geographical value, that is your country or region, but it is also mentioned in string. It has text values. Okay, it have two properties, which is your string as well as your geographical data. Okay, now moving further, all these are ABC. Now again, we have some numerical values. See, decimal values, right? Here it is whole value. Okay, this is again a decimal value, and this is also again a decimal value. Here you can see default is also clicked. So what is this default? As when you insert any data sources into your Tableau, by default Tableau identifies what type of data is inserted into the columns, and it gives these data as some types. So it by default given these types. Okay, whenever you change it, the right click from the default removes. Okay, so hope you understood what are the types of data is available in Tableau. Let's move ahead. Or one thing more we can see over here. Okay, over here also all the field names are available. So for the sake of simplicity, you can see the type. The types are also given here. Okay, right. Right. So moving to our slides again. Here we are back. Okay. So let's see in detail what are these types. So and what it looks like, what type of if there is some data, and by just observing the data we can identify what type of data it is. So the very first thing is your text values, right? The symbol of the text value is like this. Okay, so it contains your string and alphanumerical data, right? If you will observe some data like this, don't let it be a numerical data. It is a alphanumeric data, So it will be considered as a text values, or you can say your strings. Okay, and all the numerical values also are included into your text values. Sorry, not numerical values. Your text values, your alphabets. Okay, will be included into your text values, right? Now moving forward further with the date values. There are two type of data types. One is your date and second is your date and time. So don't get confused in both of these types of data sources. So be clear that one is your date values and another one is your date and time. I will let you know that what are these two things. So coming with the date values, it have a specific date only. Remember, whatever be the format of the date, Tableau automatically identifies that as a date values. If if, if the format is like this, DDMMYYYY, or by the name of month and year, it will identify automatically as a date data. Okay. Moving further with the date and time. Most of the time, uh, where we will find these type of data types, uh, if you know, whenever you are filling any Google form or any surveys, then this data type is included in that, right? If you fill any Google form or any surveys, the very first thing that is inserted into that is the date when you filled the form and the time when you filled that form. So there are many participants and learners in this group also who filled the attendances of day one today, and some of them filled that yesterday. So the time and the dates are also inserted in that. These are automated by the Google forms, so it is identified easily. So that's the case. I am just giving the example. Don't take it otherwise. We will consider that. So uh, this is date and time values. Here it is only the date. Along with the date, we have a time also. Okay. Whenever there is a time with your date, Tableau considers it as a date and time value. So both these things are different, right? So don't merge these things and don't get confused in these both of the data types. So whenever there is a time along with date, it is date and time. And whenever there is a date only, whatever be the format of the date, but if the only date available, then it is the only data type, date type. Okay. Next is numerical data. I think I don't need to explain the numerical data. As all of you are very well known that what is numerical values. So whenever there is a purely numerical values, okay, you can say numerical data types. So it is considered into numerical values of Tableau. It automatically identified it as a numerical values. Okay. Next, the two different types. These two are very interesting data types. The very first is your Boolean values. Okay. If I say that if the field contains or the column having the values in true and false. Okay. If I say there is a column like it, consider a column. Okay. Here some headings. It have true, false, like this. Okay. This that. So don't get confused. If I say the column having the name true, eh, then don't say that, sir, it is a text name, so it have to consider in text. But by default, we know whenever there is a values naming true, false, it is considered as a boolean values. By default, Tableau consider it as a boolean values. And second thing, whenever the whole column having the values only 0 and 1, then also it considered as a boolean values. Okay, see, we have an example, but take it reverse.
Wrong example, sir.
uh, Pardon.
Wrong example, sir.
Yeah, right, wrong example. That's why I said you that make it reverse, like it. Okay, so whenever you say that a current year is 2021, it is false. Okay, take it false. And whenever the data sources says current year 2022, say is true. So there is some boolean values. It says some conditions, it have some conditions. Okay, true and false, 0 1. So it is boolean values, right? Tableau considered these values automatically. Okay, these type of symbols will be there. Now a very interesting part, that is your geographical values. uh, I told you that maps are really the very and the most interesting part of Tableau. You can explore so many things in your maps, so many things. You can create them so much attractive also. Okay. So geographical values considers the name of cities, your name of states, name of countries, or even the latitude and longitude informations. Okay, pin code, and all those things that locate some places are considered as a geographical values. By default, if you say it's a Texas, okay, so by default, Tableau identifies the place and put it into your map. So that's the very interesting part, that it identifies a worldwide states, cities, countries according to their latitude and longitude. If there is a file, as well as in our file also, in our superstore data, there are many geographical values in which some states and countries name are available. So if there is a mention Texas only, then even it Tableau classifies as it and creates the latitude and longitude of Texas. So see how intelligently Tableau converts your database into more informative values. That's why Tableau is so much famous. Okay, moving ahead. What are the roles of these data? Right. So how these data are working and what are the roles of these data? Right. There are two types. There are two types of data roles. Okay. We have to see. Okay. One is dimensions and measures, right? And second is your discrete and continuous data. Okay. Both of these having their own behaviors, and they're having a very important role while working in Tableau. So let me show you where is dimensions and where is measures. Let's back to our Tableau screen. Just a moment. I'm putting myself on mute. Just a moment. Okay. Let's see from the screen of Tableau what are dimensions or what are measures. We already inserted our orders table into Tableau. So now click on the sheet 1 in left bottom corner to see a sheet named as a sheet 1. Okay. So click on that. Sure. Why didn't save to save it? Save it. Wait, it is not responding. Let it load again. Fine. It is loaded again. So now you can see as we have categories of our attributes over here. Okay. See from our data source also we find that these are the fields we have in our database, or we can say data source. Okay. Sandeep, now you will understand that what is extract and what is live. As see, we clicked on the extract file and it also showing the time, at what time it get refreshed, right? Now if any update occurs in this data set, you have to click on this refresh. Until you will not click on the refresh, the data set is not getting updated automatically, but in live connection it gets update automatically. Moving to the sheet 1, you see in all the fields from here, these all fields are shown here also. Tableau automatically classified these data types, right? See, in upper part of this list, you can say a slight view of a line over here. It separates these types of data, and the upper side of these data are said to be dimensions. Okay, these are dimensions. Tableau classified it into two things. One is your dimensions, and second is your measures. Those data that are that can be measured means all the numerical data. All the numerical data is measure values. See, your discount, profit, quantity, sales. These are your measurable data. Okay, and all are numerical data also. So you can say those data types which are numerical are known as your measure values, right? And all other data types, those are not numerical values, are known as your dimensions. See, your text value, geographical value, your date types, okay, your boolean values, all of the other fields are dimensions. Okay, so moving ahead, one more thing to identify which are the dimensions and which are the measures. When you see, uh, when you move your cursor on the dimension value, it is highlighted with a blue color. Okay, as well as when you move your cursor on your measures, it get highlighted with a green color bar. So green and blue color classification also over here. So whenever you use these data types anywhere, your dimensions having blue color and your measures having green color. Okay, coming back to the slide over here. So we understood where is dimensions and what is measures. Okay, so moving ahead, we will see in detail also that what is dimension, what is measures, and discrete versus continuous. Let understood first what is dimensions and what is measures. Okay. So as already we seen that data comprises both textual and numerical values. So one is said to be your dimensions, other is your measures. And another thing, Tableau automatically identifies and segregates this data into dimensions and measures. Right? We already seen this. So dimensions usually produce a header. Okay, when added to a row or column shelves in the view. Right? I will show you this thing also. Second thing, if the data containing any categories, then it is also dimensions, where all the numerical part are measures. Just remember this. Okay, and further when you will work on it, you will understand more features of dimensions and measures. The separation, the categorization according to dimension measures, it will help you in your more accurate and more informative visualizations. So remember both the things, what are the dimension, what are the measures. uh, by one more thing you can remember both of these, that measures means the data that can be measured on some parameters or that are calculative are known as measures data, whereas all other things are known as dimensions. Right, now move with your discrete versus continuous. what is discrete and what is continuous. Both of the things can be compared with your dimensions and measures also. I will show you. The data sets which are already categorized in dimensions and measures are also categorized into discrete and continuous value. Okay, these two charts easily explain you the properties of discrete data, which is not continuous. Okay, having some breaks in the data sources, or you can say the those data which are not connected with each other. Just a moment, just. Okay, so here we have two types. One is your discrete and second your continuous. So here we can see in discrete values, it is shown in some graphical charts. Okay, in every data here it have some limits. Okay, it stops somewhere, right? And it have some fixed values, right? But whereas in continuous data, it is moving, it is not having any limits, right? Like time, it varies every moment, every second. Okay, as well as when the value is in points, the point can be at any point. After decimal, it can varies at any point. So that type of data. So if you say some age is fixed, it is not a variable thing. So it get fixed at a particular point. So it is discrete. Any name, okay, is also discrete. Okay, but time, like time, all these things are continuous. Okay, so we can explain it with one more example. Uh, just a moment. We have discrete and continuous value.
Sir,
You can say yes, yes, Sandeep. Sandeep.
sir, age is considered a discrete value or a continuous value.
Discrete value.
But sir, it also
It is
changes. No?
it is fixed at a moment, na?
Okay.
Suppose we have some values like 20 age, 25 age, 30 age. Okay. So one more thing that you can compare these discrete and continuous things to understand more easily that what type of data will be considered as discrete and what type of data will be considered as continuous. So if you have a knowledge of dimensions and measures, dimensions are your textual data and your measures are your numerical data. So just remember the very you can say 99% cases considerations. that discrete data will be your dimensions data also. Okay, and whereas the continuous data in 95 to 99% time they are numerical data, or you can say they are measures. Or second thing, the data which represents the category of the data or categorizes the data in some particular pattern are discrete. And second thing, if you can implement aggregation on any your data, then it is continuous data. Okay, aggregations mean calculations, right? So you can uh, differentiate into these with the comparison of your dimensions and measures. That will help you to remember the things. Okay, so most of the time when you talk about the discrete, it is most probably a dimensions, and whenever you are talking about the continuous, it is most probably measures. Age is a particular case where it is considered into discrete. Okay, moving ahead, see over here. Uh, it shows you the discrete data role. Okay, here we have quantity. The quantity field is blue on column shelf. Okay, when we put quantity into your column shelf, it is shown into blue, and it is shown as a header. Okay, this your particular this type of values. Okay, this is your discrete measures. Okay, and second, this is your continuous value. Now differentiate in both of the things. Here it is blue. Okay, this quantity is in blue color, so it is discrete. Okay, Tableau itself identifies and tell you that what type of data it is. So it is blue, it is discrete. Okay, now you see the quantity is converted in green color, so it is now a continuous data. You can see the chart also. Okay, and the quantity is also varying over here. Okay, you can see in Tableau screen also. Let's see in Tableau. So where is quantity? Here is quantity. Move it into the column. Okay, it is green right now. And second one is your sales. Moving over. Both the things are in green color. Okay, but when you change the data set as per your requirement, it converts into discrete and your measures. Okay, right now both of the things are numerical values, so it is considered in your continuous data. Okay, so moving with the things, what are the applications of discrete and continuous data, or you can say the fields, right? So where we can implement these discrete and continuous values. Okay, the very first thing is the discrete fields are used to categorize data. Okay, uh, let me explain you here. When we put both of the things here, both of the things are in green, we have to categorize this. So taking some example of subcategories. If we will double click on categories, it automatically included with the chart. See, this is discrete value, your subcategory, and it categorized your data also in different values. Let me explain again. At this moment, we have the sum of quantity and the sum of sales, as it is also shown over here. This is sum of quantity and this is sum of sales. Okay, but if we want to see categories of different parameters, we want to categorize this data, that as per different types, or you can say categories, it is shown the sum of quantity as well as the sales. So we considered subcategories to categorize the data. Double click on subcategory. See how beautifully it categorizes the data. So discrete data categorizes your parameters, right? So this will be your first thing to remember, that whenever you want to categorize your data, then discrete fields are used. Okay, and whenever you want your aggregations or measurements and all other calculative parts, then continuous fields are used. Okay, moving ahead. See, like this. These this is this, you can represent your parameter like this when you use your discrete values, and when you use continuous values, it is look like this. Let's observe these things in Tableau. Taking again another example. So we have sum with us. Okay, let's begin from the starting. Take subcategories from here in column. Okay, it automatically appears over here, and your you can say your sales in rows. A bar chart is represented. When we see the charts, we will go into the depth how they are creating. Now see two things. We want to categorize these values. What are the we want to categorize these values on the basis of visualization. What we will do, we use discrete data, okay, to categorize. Now bring the drag or bring your subcategories into color. See how beautifully it categorized the data on the basis of color. Each and every subcategory having a different color. So it separated all the categories and categorized all the databases on different color and showing it like this. Okay. Now the second thing, what your continuous data do, again bring the sales into color. See, it makes some measurements. How it makes the measurement? Light blue. Here it shows you the variation on the basis of color. Light to dark, मतलब minimum to maximum. Light to dark, minimum value towards the maximum value. As the value is increasing, the uh, color is also getting more dark. So see the minimum value having light color, and the maximum value having the darkest color. So it shows some measurement or some calculations. I hope you all understand the difference between your discrete and continuous data, how they are used to categorize the data and how they are used to aggregate the data. Here it is used. Okay. So let's take a small break. Let's start. As you see, and we already discussed that how discrete values are used to categorize the things and continuous fields used to aggregate the your data. Now follow these steps on your Tableau. Open your Tableau and drag and drop region in columns. Okay, drag and drop region field in column. Okay, now as in it, click on the down arrow and you can see there is an option named as measures. Okay, in measures section, okay, in measures section you can find your minimum, maximum, count and count distinct. These four more categories. Okay, as you can see here also it is clicked as a dimension. So how to change a dimension to a measure? Okay, it is already mentioned you a dimension here, right? When you click any of these options, it converts into your measures. Okay, let's see this example in your Tableau. Let's open Tableau again. Wait, it's working. Okay, so we have regions, drag and drop in columns. Now, as I told you, click on this icon, and there is already mentioned that this is dimension. And what we want to change the dimension into your measures. Just clicking on minimum. See, this is now categorized as a measure. See, this is converted into measure. You can click on count. See, the parameter having now some numeric values also. Okay, so this is how uh, a dimension is changed in measures. Sometimes we have need to change these dimensions into measures. We will see in further practices that what are these needs when we use to convert dimension into measures. Now the continuous field in the column shelf displays an axis, right? Now drag and drop one continuous field into column. Says you say your sales, get it back. Your sales into column. See, here is a range. Okay. Now moving ahead. See, if a discrete item is put into your row shelf, it creates a header. See this thing, because it is categorizing the things now. So whenever, drag and drop again, whenever it is put into rows, see, it creates a header. Okay, this thing I want to explain in this slide. These are the properties, or you can say the applications of discrete and continuous field. How we are using these discrete and continuous parameters, or you can say a feature of your database. Now, the renaming, hide, unhide, and sort columns. We will see this part in the next session. Okay, so this is all about today's session. Hope you understood